Hi, this is Nathan Morris, strength and conditioning coach at the Pirates Performance Center in Greenside, and you're watching Joburg Today.
If you thought weight and powerlifting were strictly men's sports, guess again. Because the women at the Performance Purist are proving that you don't have to be butch to be strong.
My name's Pia.
Donna Ahrens.
Abby Adjusef.
I run two little coffee shops called Lift.
Banker.
I'm a mum to an 18-year-old boy, and I'm in financial services, and I'm a director in their sales division.
A couple of years ago, I found myself in a situation where I was working these crazy hours. I wasn't healthy, I was smoking, I was living my best life, drinking, partying, and was really not really healthy. So my husband convinced me to give up smoking, which I did, and packed on quite a little bit of weight, and started training CrossFit just to get a bit more healthy and lose weight. And through CrossFit, I discovered my love for the bar, which is where I started lifting, and it just went from there.
Inspiration was actually an overseas competition. It was World Masters in Barcelona, 2018. So we started deciding, okay, let's try out for this. It seemed completely far-fetched. I'm not like an athlete person, so the idea of being able to compete internationally was like, are you sure? And Darren built a squad of people who were over 35, and we started training with him, seeing if we could qualify, and we did. And it was the most amazing experience, and that was actually quite surreal.
As a child, I always loved sports. I was into gymnastics, swimming, athletics. I thought I was going to go to the Olympics as a kid to do a 100-meter sprint, but never quite made it there. But CrossFit, I started again when I moved to South Africa. I was a very, very average CrossFitter. I did not enjoy the gymnastics side of it, but the weightlifting, I really did enjoy, and I think I had an affinity for it. So I started doing classes once a week with Darren, and then eventually in 2018, moved to doing exclusively weightlifting.
The numbers are starting to gradually increase. I think there's quite a few reasons for that. If you look at the times that we currently live in and all access to information, social media, women empowerment and all of those factors. And then obviously along with CrossFit. I think all of these factors have helped expose what the sport is, what it's about. It's assisted in exposing women to lifting weights and realizing that they can be strong and not butch, which is absolute nonsense. In South Africa, we're still a little bit behind the 8 ball. There's still a lot more exposure and a lot more education that needs to happen, but we are steadily going there.
Through the bar, I've managed to improve my lifestyle, eat better, sleep better, train, and when I started, my objective was to become really strong, and I'm still going, so just every day, just trying to chip away at that strength.
It makes you actually think that you could do something you really never saw yourself doing before. Like I said, I didn't grow up an athletic kid. I played some volleyball, but I wasn't like the one that was always on the track team or doing something like getting first place in athletics, not at all. And being able to see yourself compete at something, and especially something a little unusual for women, makes you think that maybe you could actually do some other harder things.
When I told friends that I was doing weightlifting, they thought I meant bodybuilding. So they were like, oh my goodness, so you're going to start modeling in a bikini? And I was like, what does that have to do with weightlifting? There's a real misconception about the sport. And then even then, there still are some misconceptions. People always ask, what do you bench? I'm like, that's not weightlifting. That's part of training, but it's not weightlifting exclusively. So I have spent a lot of time educating my family and my other friends who aren't training here what weightlifting is. Like I'll send them snippets from the Olympics, just showing them, what a beautiful yet technical sport it is and how enjoyable it is. So I haven't changed everybody's mind yet, but my friends do have much more of an appreciation for strength sports.
I think naturally we have the stereotype that only men can lift and men are strong. And I think that the entry into a sport like lifting is easier for a man because it comes more naturally from a hormonal perspective than testosterone. But I think that builds the foundation for a woman to understand what hard work is. Because they don't just walk into a gym and can do a strict pull-up, or they got to work for every single kilogram, every rep. They just become accustomed to the fact that it's hard work. But it's pretty awesome to see, as an example, a 60-year-old walk into a gym and all of a sudden start a new career and a new passion, and they represent their country, they travel the world, and they're 60. I mean, you tell me how many 60-year-olds perceive life as like, well, I'm approaching retirement and I have grandkids, and like, well, that's pretty much it. Maybe keep healthy and fit, but now you can actually take anybody at any age and give them like this competitive platform where they can push themselves to the limit.